I am not sponsored to make this video, but Neverness to Everness or NTE is currently the biggest talk of the gacha space, and I'm gonna be honest, it is hard to ignore the noise. I've been keeping an eye on it, but every few years, there is always a game that comes along that everyone insists will be an insert game name here killer. It could be a Genshin killer, HSR killer, Wuwa killer, whatever killer. A game that shakes up the old way of doing things so much that the big gacha games have to keep up with their developments and generosity, because if not, they will be losing players to this new game. Well, right now, the gacha world is incredibly saturated. Every game wants your attention. Funny thing is that most of those voices are just copying what worked before. Look at all of those Genshin copies, am I right? But Neverness to Everness just finished its launch livestream a few days ago, depending on when this video is getting published, and it didn't just show off bigger rewards or very lewd handholding. It felt like the developers were trying to change the rules of the game entirely. Urban open world, a massive city you can actually live in, filled with cars you can actually drive, property and businesses you can literally own. I have played this game myself in the beta stage, and it is safe to say that between the recent launch livestream and the data from the betas, we have finally got enough context to see the bigger picture of the game. The picture being painted here is one of high risk but high rewards. If you want to see more NTE content from me, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon to stay updated with my videos, because a surprising amount of people watch my videos without subscribing. And without wasting more of your time, we have to start with the one thing every gacha player has learned to live with, even if we all secretly hate it. And that one thing is that moment when you're in a public place, using a public Wi-Fi, not knowing that it is often unsecured. Every link you click and every search you make, it leaves a digital footprint that advertisers and potentially very harmful hackers can track. It is how you end up with creepy targeted ads, or worse, compromised personal info like passwords. And that is why I have been using Surfshark. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone between, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. It is a cybersecurity tool that essentially puts a protective layer over your entire online life. By hiding your IP address and encrypting your data, Surfshark makes your online activity much harder to track and keeps your private info actually private. But it's honestly more than just a VPN. As a content creator, I use it a lot when I'm gathering materials to make my videos on. As a normal person, I use it when I'm shopping online to avoid price discrimination, since some sites change their prices based on your location, and it even has an ad blocker to stop those data sponges from following you around. And the best part though, one account protects unlimited devices, so your entire household is covered. If you want to secure your digital life, you can go to my link in the description at surfshark.com/𝗖cie_𝗽𝗆 or the pinned comment, or use the code 𝗖cie_𝗽𝗆 at checkout. You will get a huge discount, plus 4 extra months. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out completely risk-free. I have put the link at the very top of the description below. Without further ado, let's go back into the video. In the gacha space, the coin flip system, the 50-50, has been the industry standard. And not gonna lie, that is a nightmare for me. I have lost so many 50-50s, it's insane.
Fuck! Why is it always you? It's always you! It's always you! It's always you! Every single fucking time!
But for those who haven't spent hours staring at a character you can't afford to pull, it is basically an invisible coin flip. When you finally trigger that 5-star gacha animation, you only have a 50% chance of actually getting the character on the limited banner. The other 50%, you can get a quote-unquote standard character that you probably already have or didn't even want. Another thing is that there's a lot of psychology that goes into it, like building the tension, for example. And even if most of the time it just builds frustration and resentment, it could also make winning the 50-50 coin flip feel more like an achievement. And I would like to go into it more, but that is a topic for another video. I'm just saying that it has been the way these games have gone for a very long time now, and we have all just sort of accepted it. Until NTE. Until now. Finally, about time! I am so sick of losing this 50-50 banner bullshit. Sorry, I lost my composure a bit there. NTE is taking a high risk by just throwing that entire profit system out of the window. They have confirmed that when you pull on a limited banner, you get the featured S-class character at 90 pulls without the coin flip. No chance of losing to a random character from 3 years ago that surely got power crept by newer characters. Everyone is sick of being treated unfairly by these games, and NTE, the one that stood up, finally being the ones to stop it all. The developers make themselves look like the good guys, so we will trust them right away. But of course, this is not just a nice gesture. As much as they want to look good for their potential players, this is more of a direct shot against their competitors. By making the gacha experience less predatory, it is like telling their players like, hey, those other games want to drain your dollars. They want to make you frustrated so you spend more. But us, we're not like other girls. We want to reward you for staying. I mean, I don't really know much about gacha anyway. I have low XP.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And you know what? I think it's smart because it is working pretty well by the way people are talking about it, right? Even the way you interact with this system has completely changed. They made it a lot less painful. Instead of a static, boring visual, NTE uses this board game aesthetic. You roll a dice and then you move a little piece along the path to get your rewards. By turning the act of spending into a minigame, they cover up the transaction. The goal is to make you feel like you're not spending too much money. I believe there is an option to skip this feature or to make it go faster, and I'll be one of those people who will do that because I love the pain of gacha. My viewers love to see me getting tortured by these gacha companies. And it is the thing that makes me still want to play these games up to this day. Am I a masochist or a gambling addict? Who knows? This is something that exists in other gacha games as well, but I feel like NTE does it a bit better because even when you don't land on the big character that you want, the board is covered in these smaller wins, you know? Something like car skins or gliders or even in-game currency. You know, it gives you that happy chemicals flowing so you don't feel the sting of not getting the character you want. But this is mostly just because we just started playing, because I could imagine getting the same skin for like 7 times, and by then I don't think I will be happy anymore, you know? But while the economy is clearly designed to keep you rolling the dice, see what I did there by the way? The world itself is designed to keep you living in it. The game really wants you to stop staring at the menu and start looking at the beautiful metropolis around you. As much as content creators and people on the internet are trying to push this game as the anime-style GTA 6, I really do think that the label doesn't quite fit the complexity of NTE. In a lot of these open world slap games, the city is just a background set for the story. But 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗆 here isn't just trying to build a big map for you to drive your cars into civilians. NTE has an environment that behaves almost like the real deal. Or in other words, hetero is more of a career simulator. Massive day for the unemployed. They have this thing called the city tycoon system. A tycoon is a word for someone who owns a business and gets very rich. And that is essentially your secondary job here. You're still a hero, of course, but while Spider-Man delivers pizza and Superman reports for the newspaper, you are a rich business owner. Now it sounds like a lot of what you do in the city looks like busy work, because yes, it is. We got chores like driving a taxi, fishing, running a shop, and in most RPGs, we usually want to skip the chores to get to the fighting. But here, the busy work feels more like a cure for something that has been a constant problem in the space. The feeling where a world looks full and most certainly beautiful, but it feels empty, like a hollow movie set because you can't interact with anything. By giving you a reason to actually drive the streets or work a shift, the city starts to feel actually alive. In my opinion, immersion is one of the most important points in the checklist to achieve longer player attention. We want to experience that magical feeling where you just feel like you're inside this world, so immersed in the game so fully that you forgot to take a shower for 3 days. And we're gonna get into the best thing about NTE in my opinion. We have the Anomaly commissions. They handle these things with such well thought. These aren't your typical copy-pasted baby puzzles like, oh, this one, put the triangle in the triangle hole, put the rectangle in the rectangle hole. These Anomaly missions are unique one-time moments that make exploration feel genuinely special. It gives you a reason to explore and experience these events. A good example is the boxing monster one. And you can see there a monster wearing big boxing gloves. You have dialogues with it, voiced by the way. And that bro just unleashed his whole domain expansion. A massive metal platform rises out of the solid ground. Studio lights and headlights drop down from the sky out of nowhere. Within seconds, a segment of the street corner got turned into a professional boxing ring. And when you win, the stage dismantles, and the city just snaps back into normal like nothing ever happened. To get to these moments, an easy and quick way is to teleport, but another way is through manually driving like a boss. In this game, transportation is, in a way, your identity. You know, speed is one thing, but it is more about how you choose to exist in the world. You have sports cars for the people who want to feel like they have money, but you also have go-karts and even wheelchairs for the people who want to be a bit more wild. Your car is basically an outfit that happens to have 4 wheels and an engine. In this game, if your grandma has wheels, she would be indeed a bike. For all the flashiness and the cars and the city lights, the most interesting parts of NTE are actually the small, rather boring technical choices. The developers have spent a lot of time playing other gacha games and taking notes on what sucks, and it really shows. It actually feels like they are listening to the player feedback of other games, which is wild, but game is game, quite literally. The toggleable dupes are one of those examples. In most of these games, when you pull a duplicate copy of a character, they get a permanent power boost, and there is no way to switch it off. I mean, logically, right? It makes sense. You just spent $1,000 on a max dupe character to get the max power. Why would you want to get it weaker? It just doesn't make sense coming from that point of view. But you need to realize that options are just always good to have. NTE is letting you turn those boosts off whenever you want. Maybe you do want to make yourself feel weaker to get real challenge. Maybe you want to feel poor, like these other free-to-play players, you know, feel more relatable. As a content creator though, this is an incredible thing. For guides, showcases, you name it, I can already see it. They also made a smart choice with the stamina system, the energy bar that tells you have played enough and need to go outside or pay money to keep going. NTE has 2 separate bars, one for combat and one for the city. It means living in the world, like doing those jobs or going on dates. It doesn't stop you from progressing or making your characters stronger in the RPG. They aren't forcing you to choose between the fun stuff and the necessary stuff. When you look back at everything we have talked about and see the very saturated space of the gacha genre, you will start to see what NTE is really doing. Thank the lords above that it is not actually trying to be the next Genshin Impact, it is trying to be its own game. But to get us to try the game out in the first place, the developers are taking a high-risk, high-reward gamble for the launch version. Offering over 470 polls and a free max-level character is essentially them trying to buy a player base. There's no hiding it that we are experiencing the honeymoon phase right now, where everything is supposedly perfect, and the developers are being incredibly nice to you. The real test comes when that honeymoon phase ends. Once the mountain of free gifts is gone, we will see if NTE has enough substance or actual meaningful things to do to keep us from moving on to the next big gacha game launch. Neverness to Everness feels like it was built by people who actually play these games and hate the same annoying things we do. When you see the absolute Giga Chad move of removing the 50-50 coin flip gacha system, it feels like they just shot up in levels of importance. If they play their cards right and not screw it up, these big established gacha games really would have a competition to look out for. Whether the City of Hetero becomes a shop or a flop remains to be seen, but for now, it is probably safe to say that the good enough, stagnant era of gacha is over. You have to do way more than just show up now, and I'm all for it. I want to leave you all with one final thought on that 50-50 change. Does the removal of that coin flip system make you more likely to try out or even possibly commit to a new game for the long haul? Let me know in the comments below, but that is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗿, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!